to ask Ginger to come up here real quick. Ginger, a number of weeks ago, she had an ailment. I just give a little background with her heart. And she actually had to be hooked to a heart monitoring system because her heart would go out so much that would immediately call 911 to come get her. And she had come up in the healing line, and Pastor prayed for her. And when he prayed for her, the fire came upon her. And she went out. She could not mow the grass. She couldn't hardly walk very far. And she went after that service, shortly after that, and she ran around the car a couple of times, and she wasn't winded. Then she went home and she said she cut the grass a bunch of times that she couldn't do before. But she went back recently to the doctor to confirm what had happened. And this, I just want you to hear this report that he said to her when she went back.
Well, first I want to say that I was in here when he did that, when he laid his hands on me, and I've got scars where the burn, and it was, I've never experienced anything like that. And I was telling my friend that he's my neighbor, and I was telling him, I said, I'm hurting so bad. I said, I've got to take this off. And while he was doing that, the phone was ringing, and I finally had to get out there because they was dispatching someone here. And I said, no, I'm fine.
To the church?
Yeah. And I said, no, I'm fine. It's a malfunction or something. And they were saying, no, we've got to get, just sit still where someone's coming. I said, no, I'm fine. And it all started coming back. And I was walking, and I said, oh, it still hurts. And it hurt all the way through. And he was saying, well, it's still God's hand on you. He's still working. And I got to the car, and it was like, it's a long time that I couldn't walk from here to out there without having to, breathe and stuff. And I sit there, and I said, it's gone. And he said, sit in the car. So I sit in the car, and he said, what are you doing? I got up, and he was getting ready to pull off, and I ran around the car. He said, don't push it. Just sit in the car. And I said, no. So I got up and I ran, and then Monday the doctor called, and he was telling me all this stuff, and I said, well, I cut the grass. And he said, don't do that. Don't do this. So they got me in, they ran all these tests, and then he said, you're still I was on a transplant list. And then they ran the test, and he called me in there. He said, you got it. And this was the doctor calling me, and he told me to come in there. And, this was 4 weeks after he gave me all this bad report, and I had to have someone to come in with me because it was just horrible. And then he said, well, I talked it over with the other doctors in here. And he said, there's nothing. There's no scarring. There's no damage. Your heart is the normal size. I told him, I said, I told you God healed me. He said, I'm going to have to tell you, there's no medical reason why you're this way. He said, but you're off the heart transplant list. He said, and I told the other doctors that we're just going to have to say God did this one. And I said, he did.
Yay, God! Yay, God! Glory.